So artificial intelligence is an umbrella term that really means having a computer, this is my take on it, mimic human-like behaviors. And there's computer programming behind the scenes in various ways to achieve that. However, tonight what we're going to address from the LEGALMATION standpoint is really what's called pattern recognition or machine learning. So, and then there's something called deep learning within that. I also worked for a number of years with LexisNexis, and you may have heard Boolean search logic and natural language. Well, natural language is a subset of artificial intelligence as well. So they're used in different ways in different industries, and we were talking at the beginning of our conversation this evening that it applies to healthcare and all kinds of areas. But really what we see that there is a need for is to solve problems and to help with some of the pain points. And in our case, because we are from the world of litigation, our companies both address how to alleviate some of those pain points and really help you practice law with greater ease. So.
Lori, would you also say that what you try and bring to the table, with both of these products is efficiency?
Yes. Efficiency and consistency, so two NCs on that one.
Right.
I like to say that the computer doesn't get tired. I don't know about you, but when I was billing out at about 2,400 hours a year at one point, I got tired. And my clients didn't care if I was tired. They wanted the same representation, whether I was bright and awake at 8 in the morning or if it was Sunday at 10 p.m. So you do get consistency of results. So we talked a little bit about solving problems, and they touched on that at the end there. That's really the so what of how AI can really help people, is it solves problems, and that's what we're here to kind of talk about. They mentioned deep learning. There's also a term called back propagation, and that's really key. It's a set of algorithms that are coded into the system, and machine learning meaning it learns based on pattern recognition of what's fed into it. So you may have heard this term, it's trained on a set of information or data points. And there's a lot of development that goes into it. We were talking a little bit earlier, sometimes you'll hear somebody say, well, I think I could duplicate something like that in my basement kind of thing. And we're here to say that it's a pretty sophisticated process. So I'm sure everyone in the room is familiar with some of the top tools there. E-discovery, legal research, contract review. Those are basic tools, amazing tools. What we are proud of at LEGALMATION, and we're a 2-to-1 ratio by design of legal practitioners, licensed attorneys to really smart technology people. And we've automated and mirrored that work production process. And we read, comprehend, and analyze and prepare drafts for you on the defense side of a proposed answer and all affirmative defenses and the first set of discovery, including interrogatories, requests for admissions, requests for production. On the plaintiff side, we create automatic shells, response shells to requests for discovery requests. All the responses included targeted objections that are based on the practice area. So
Lori,
very sophisticated.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Would you say that this is going to work both on a state and a federal level?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. It will be fully operational for both state and federal. Right now, for the discovery, as you can probably imagine, there's a little more uniformity in the federal system on the discovery side as opposed to complaints that have a little more variation. So right now, on the discovery responses, state and federal jurisdictions are available.
So do you, has your system ingested the federal rules of civil procedure?
Yeah, we train, to use that term, on documents that are actual publicly available documents, and also our practitioners at our company have some of their own databases of form files. We used to call them in the day. Do people still call them form files? They used to actually be in those red wells, and now they're usually on some kind of document management system. So yes, and really the quality of the documents that a system is trained on, I mean, if you want to get comfortable asking if anyone else is proposing that to your firm, ask them without getting too esoteric, what are the quality of data points that you're using, because that I think is a critical factor. And then we also train to your point on the local rules and the various jurisdictions. And we also train on legal treatises, things like that. But again, it's with the practitioner's point of view, not purely legal concepts, but it's trained on allegations, on fact patterns. In fact, this is an example of the deep learning. It intuits, if that's a word in this context, what it thinks would be most relevant. Now, I always say we get you to the review stage in a couple of minutes. We don't ever suggest that this would replace your review. That goes back to the earlier point. I don't think we're going to ever eliminate the human element, but we enhance it and get you to that stage much faster, which we're going to touch on a little bit later here. However, it is the ability to intuit based on the fact pattern what it thinks would be the most relevant objections and or answer affirmative defenses. We have a case where a dentist, interestingly enough, broke his tooth, and so he sued for the damages to his teeth, and he had gone into a Whole Foods thinking he was eating the best possible way. He went to get a foraging free-range chicken, one of those rotisserie chickens at Whole Foods. Well, the nature of foraging chickens is that while they're foraging, they eat rocks. So when he was, I don't know why he decided that he thought the gizzards would be delicious. He bit into the gizzards of the chicken, at least the allegation is that caused his injuries to his tooth. Our system, in generating an answer to that complaint, intuited that, and we didn't feed in any specific fact patterns that had to do with foraging chickens. It knew to, based on how it had been trained on other documents, that that was a key allegation, and to intuit that, ergo, the defendant should have known that that was a potential risk that should have been accounted for.
So what do you think, do you believe that it's important to keep up with case law in terms of rulings that are coming out, at least in the discovery arena?
Yeah, I know that, and we have an ethics lawyer in the room. I think keeping abreast of changes in law is just an important part of being an attorney, and technology is all part of that. And I believe it's in one of the first ABA rules too, that you have a duty to keep up to speed with technology and the rules that go along with that.
But is your system learning that on an ongoing basis?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the challenge and the opportunity for companies like ours, because we're small and mighty and growing. So we're continuing to build out more and more robust databases.